Dear students, it's very happy to see you all and I welcome you to online classes DU Nalgonda. In our last chapter we have discussed about electric current and different types of electric circuits, what is electric shock and overload kind of things, and in this chapter we will discuss about electromagnetism. Mainly we'll talk about magnetic effects of electric current. Okay, this kind of thought has led to invent many electric motors in our lives. Okay, the first time in the world, Hans Christian Ørsted has performed experiments to find out the magnetic effects of electric current. Okay, to understand this experiment, let us take one electric conductor, that is AB. It is connected to a battery, okay, and the switch. Okay, when the switch is on, the electric current travels from A to B. Okay, and you take one magnetic compass. It is having north and south poles. Okay, it is brought near to the conductor A and B. While the electric current is passing through from A to B, when it is brought near to the electric conductor, the magnetic compass is influenced by the electric current. It means one edge, north pole or south pole, is getting attracted towards the electric conductor. As it is a magnetic substance or it's a magnet, it is influenced by some other substance. We can say that unless it is produced a magnetic field, this magnetic compass cannot be deflected towards the electric current. Okay, you understood? It means unless the current carrying produces a magnetic field, this magnetic compass cannot be influenced. Okay, it means we can say that whenever the electric current is passes or travels through a conductor, it produces a magnetic field around it. Now we'll try to understand what is magnetic field, how can it be produced while the electric current is passing through a conductor. Okay, now we'll talk about magnetic field or magnetism. Magnetic field. Okay, to understand this magnetic field, let us take one bar magnet. Okay, it is having north and south poles. If you brought a magnetic substance near to this bar magnet, it gets attracted towards the bar magnet. Okay, if you change the place of this magnetic substance like iron nail, around the area of the bar magnet, wherever it is placed, it gets influenced or it attracted towards the bar magnet. If you take it and away from the bar magnet, it cannot influence, it cannot be attracted towards as it is moved away from the bar magnet, this magnetic substance cannot be attracted towards the bar magnet. It means this bar magnet can influence the area which is some of the area which is surrounded by it. The area which is surrounded by the bar magnet is influenced, so that area is called as magnetic field. Okay, to understand this magnetic field, now we will try to understand bar magnet. Okay, it is having north and south poles, and take one magnetic compass which is placed near to the north pole of the bar magnet. As it is the north pole, south pole is deflected and it's attracted towards the north pole, and the north pole of the magnetic compass is repelled by the north pole of the magnetic field. It means if the south pole is deflected towards the bar magnet and it is stable in one particular direction, now you identify the point of south pole with a pencil or pen. If you repeat this kind of experiment in it, as the magnetic compass is placed the different points of the different points around the bar magnet, now you will identify many dots. If you draw all the points, and the circle may come like this. Okay, it means if you change the position of the magnetic compass, you can find out different points like this, okay. It means we can say that as the magnetic compass we change its place around the bar magnet, this kind of structure we can draw, okay. It means these lines are called as these lines, as far as these lines are covered around this bar magnet, we can say that is a magnetic field. It means we can understand this magnetic field simply. Let us take one white sheet, like it's a A4 size, and you sprinkle fine iron powder. It's very iron, like kind of iron dust, okay. And you place a bar magnet on this iron dust and disturb it gently like this. Now a kind of structure is formed around the bar magnet like this, okay. As the area which is covered by this kind of structure, we can say that will be the magnetic field, okay. This magnetic field can be understood or explained in terms of these imaginary lines. These imaginary lines are called as magnetic field lines, okay. Some of the areas of the bar magnet, the magnetic field lines are very thick, and some of the area surrounded by the bar magnet is this magnetic field lines are very less in number. It means the area where the magnetic field lines are very thick, in that area magnetic field strength is very high. It means we can say that it is very strong magnetic field. The area where the magnetic field lines are very less in number, it's a weak magnetic field, okay. We can understand that. So the area where the field lines are more, we can say it's a strong magnetic field. The area where we can find the very less number of magnetic field lines, it's a weak magnetic field, okay. So at the poles the magnetic field is very strong, and the middle part of the bar magnet, the magnetic field is very weak, okay. Based on this explanation, the magnetic field is characterized by the strength as well as direction, because the magnetic field lines will be started from north pole and it reaches the south pole. Where there is a more number of field lines, it is a very strong field. Where there is a less number of field lines, we can say that is a weak magnetic field, okay. So the magnetic field is characterized by strength and the direction. Based on these two characters, where the magnetic field lines, these lines do not change their direction, we call it as the uniform magnetic field, okay. Uniform magnetic field, uniform magnetic field. If the magnetic field lines change their direction, we can say that's a non-uniform magnetic field. Non-uniform magnetic field, okay. So we can say that it's the magnetic fields can be classified into two types. One is uniform magnetic field, the other is non-uniform magnetic field. Now we'll talk about magnetic field flux. Now we'll discuss about magnetic flux and magnetic flux density, okay. The number of magnetic field lines which are passing through a unit area cross section which we can imagine. To understand this, let us take one uniform magnetic field, You can identify the direction also. Okay, this is a uniform magnetic field, and imagine one area cross section which is perpendicular to the uniform magnetic field. Okay, so the number of field lines, magnetic field lines, passes through the area which we imagine, that is known as magnetic flux. Magnetic flux, this can be denoted by phi. Okay, its unit is Weber. Okay, its unit is Weber. What is flux? The number of field lines which are passing through the area cross section which we imagine perpendicular to the uniform magnetic field. Okay, that is flux. The flux density. Flux, now we will discuss about flux density. We know the population density. Okay, the cities like Mumbai and Calcutta, Delhi, they are high dense populated areas. In the same way, magnetic flux density also can be defined as, if the flux density is denoted with capital B, then that will be phi by A. Okay, B is equals to phi by A. Here B is the magnetic flux density, and this is a magnetic flux, and this is the area cross section. Then phi is equals to B A. If area is made some angle theta with the uniform magnetic field, A can be replaced as A cos theta, because it made some angle with the magnetic field. Now the phi will be B A cos theta. By using this, we can find out magnetic flux. The unit of magnetic flux density is Tesla. Okay, Tesla can be written as Weber per meter square. Weber, phi is Weber, area cross section is meter square. 1 Tesla is equals to Weber per meter square. Okay, by using this formula, we can find out magnetic flux. Phi is equal to B A cos theta. Okay, today we have discussed about the magnetic effects of the electric current and the magnetic field, and the magnetic field as well as uniform magnetic field and non-uniform magnetic field, the characteristics of magnetic field. And also we have discussed magnetic flux and flux density. Flux, unit of the flux is Weber, and the unit of the flux density is Tesla, that will be Weber per meter square. Okay, we'll meet in the next class. Dear students, once again I invite you to online classes D1 Nalgonda. In our previous class, we have seen that magnetic field is characterized by its strength and direction. Now we will see the direction of the magnetic field which is produced by current carrying conductor. Okay, to understand this, let us take one electric conductor, that is like copper wire, it's A and B. Okay, and it is connected to a battery. Okay, and it's a battery. Okay, and the another end of the wire is connected to a switch and is connected to the other end of the battery. Okay, when the switch is on, electric current passes through the conductor from B to A. Okay, as we have discussed in Eierstadt's experiment, when electric current is passing through a conductor, it produces magnetic field around the conductor. Okay, now we are trying to understand the direction in which the electric field is produced. This is the direction of the electric current, but we are going to find out the magnetic field in which direction it produces. Okay, let us take the scale. This looks like a conductor A and B. Okay, in this electric circuit, the electric current is passing through B to A. Like if this you consider this end is a B and this end is a A, it means the current passes from B to A. Okay, to identify the direction of the electric current, see, put the right hand thumb in the direction of the electric current. Okay, now in this direction electric current is passing. See, rest all the four fingers, they are curled towards the electric conductor in this way. When the electric current is passing in upward direction, the magnetic field is produced in anti-clockwise direction. In the textbook language, we can say that when electric current is coming out of the plane of the paper, or in upward direction, the magnetic field is produced is in anti-clockwise direction. This can be identified in terms of circle and the dot. Circle and the dot shows that the current travels from upward to in upward direction or coming out of the plane of the paper, and the magnetic field is produced is a anti-clockwise direction. Okay, if the electric current passes from A to B, it means in this direction, like in this direction. Okay, now as the electric current is coming from up to down in downward direction, the four fingers of our right hand shows it's a clockwise direction. It means when the electric current is passing from up to down or into the plane of the paper, the four fingers, the curled fingers, shows that they are curled in a clockwise direction. This can be identified with this symbol. Okay, circle with a into mark. Now it is in a in clockwise direction. Okay, it means this symbol shows that while the electric current is traveling from up to down or into the plane of the paper, the magnetic field is produced in the clockwise direction. This is the way we can find out the direction of the magnetic field when a conductor carries electric current through it. Okay, now it is very easy to understand the direction of the magnetic field which is produced by a conductor which is in the form of a straight line, but the electric conductor is in the form of a circle. Now how can we identify? In this situation, in this case, see, the current carrying conductor, copper wire, is prepared like a loop. It is prepared like a loop while the electric current is passing in this loop. Now how can we find out the magnetic field is produced in this direction? It's very simple. It is also, see, in the right hand thumb rule, the thumb is in the direction of the electric current, but for this kind of electric conductors, the forefinger shows the direction of the electric current. Now the thumb shows the magnetic field. Okay, if we draw the circle on a board like this, see, the current is traveling in a clockwise direction. Now the thumb shows towards me. It means this will be the magnetic field is towards me. The magnetic field produced is towards me. If this will be, if in this loop the direct current is not flowing in this direction but it is flowing opposite direction, it means it is a clockwise direction. Okay, in this direction, see, while it is we can say, if this will be the direction, if these four fingers are the direction of the electric current, the thumb shows the magnetic field produced along this circular conductor due to the electric current. This is away from me. It means this is away from me. One of the poles will be produced. In this way we can find out the direction of the magnetic field which is produced by the electric carrying conductor. Okay, now we will discuss about a solenoid. These two directions can be found by using right hand thumb rule. By using the right hand thumb rule, we can find out the magnetic field produced by a current carrying conductor. These directions are very important in this chapter. In this chapter especially, we are going to find out the directions of the magnetic field. Okay, now let us take this same copper wire. Actually it's an insulated copper wire. Actually it is a insulated copper wire. If this copper wire is wound on a hollow cotton or a plastic tube like this, if it is wound like this, see, helix kind of loop is produced, helix kind of field is produced. This kind of arrangement is known as a solenoid. Okay, n number of turns are wound to this hollow tube. So inside this will be hollow. So the two ends are free and these ends are connected to a battery. When these ends are connected to a battery through a switch, electric current passes through this kind of arrangement. This arrangement is called as solenoid. When the electric current travels through the solenoid, what happens? You can easily say that while the current is traveling through any conductor, it produces a magnetic field. According to that, the magnetic field is produced around this solenoid. Now we'll find out the direction of the magnetic field. Okay, this is the hollow tube. Okay, this will be the hollow tube, and it is the copper wire is wound. These are the ends. Okay, these ends are connected to a battery through a switch. Okay, when the electric current travels, here north pole is produced and here the south pole is produced. Okay, like then we can say that the solenoid behaves like a Bohr magnet, because the one end of the solenoid behaves like a north pole and the other end behaves like a south pole. As this structure of the solenoid is having the north pole and south pole, it behaves naturally, it behaves like a Bohr magnet. The magnetic field lines we can draw like this. Okay, but also the magnetic field lines are produced around this magnet, around this Bohr magnet. Okay, it means as long as the electric current travels through a solenoid, the solenoid behaves like a Bohr magnet. Okay, and the magnetic field which is produced by the solenoid is a three-dimensional, is a 3D. Okay, because the magnetic field produced inside the solenoid and above, and it means we can say that it is a three-dimensional electromagnetic field. Okay, by using this we can find out the magnetic fields which are produced by the carrying conductor. When a magnetic field produced by a current carrying conductor, it can influence some force on the moving charge. To understand this, let us bring a Bohr magnet towards the television. Okay, when the Bohr magnet is not present around the television, the picture will be very clear. When the Bohr magnet is brought near to the television, pictures on the television will get distorted. It means we can see the blur and moving up and down, this kind of pictures on the television screen. Okay, the reason behind this is when a Bohr magnet is brought near to the television, around the Bohr magnet there will be a magnetic field. This magnetic field exerts some force on the moving charges in the television. Okay, it means this kind of the force is called as magnetic force. This force is calculated with Q, V and B. Here Q is the charge, V is the velocity and B is the magnetic flux density, who's calculated in terms of Tesla. Okay na? So one more thing is, when the charge is moving, it definitely makes some angle with the magnetic flux. If the angle between V and B is theta, then B is replaced as B sin theta. B replaced as B sin theta. So then F will be Q V B sin theta. Okay, where there is an angle between the V and magnetic flux density, we have to use this formula. Let us the theta will be 0. It means if theta will be 0 means the charge is moving in the same direction of the magnetic field. Sin 0 will be 0, so the force will be 0. It means when the charge is moving with the same direction of the magnetic field, the force applied by the magnetic field will be 0. Okay na? If the angle between the V and B will be 90 degrees, then B sin theta will be 1. It means then F is equals to Q V B into 1. That will be Q V B. This will be the max value. This will be the maximum value. When the theta is 0 degrees, the F will be 0. When theta will be the 90 degrees, F value will be the maximum value. It means when the angle between the velocity of the charge and the magnetic field is 0, then the force applied by the magnetic field is 0. That will be very minimum. If the angle between the velocity of the charge and the magnetic field is 90 degrees, it means each one of them is perpendicular. So then the force will be the maximum value. Okay, and then 90 degrees will be the maximum value. By using this formula, we can find out the force applied by the magnetic field on the moving charge. And one more thing is, we can find out the direction of the force exerted by the magnetic field. Okay, by using this right hand, we can find out the direction of the force applied by the magnetic field. If this finger is the direction of the electric current, and then this third finger will be the direction of the magnetic field, if these two are the perpendicular to each other, then the thumb shows the force applied by the magnetic field. Okay, if the current is in this direction, magnetic field is in this direction, then the force applied is perpendicular to one another. Otherwise, for example, okay, let us take in this, the electric current is coming towards you, and the magnetic field is in this direction, then the force applied by the magnetic field is found out by the thumb, the direction of the thumb. Okay, by this way we can find out the magnitude of the force. By using the right hand rule, we can find out the direction of the force applied by the magnetic field. Okay, in this chapter, in this lesson, we could able to learn the directions of the magnetic fields produced by the current carrying wires, current carrying conductors, as well as the force applied by the magnetic field on the moving charge. Okay, we'll meet in the next class.